And now, Lifestyles Unlimited presents the Real Estate Investor Radio Show. Over the next hour, we unfold your map to financial freedom. You'll learn how to retire through investing in single-family and multifamily real estate. You'll learn how to create cash flow and build wealth so you can have the time and money to live the lifestyle you want.
Welcome to the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show. My name is Al Gordon, and as always, we're working on your information flow. And we're doing so today by talking about an organization that I'm a part of. Now, there's actually a lot of organizations that I am a part of, but this one particular organization did a lot for me. It did. Now, I guess I could say that about a lot of the organizations that I am a part of. They in exchange have done a lot for me. But this particular organization gave me everything that I needed when I needed it. Yeah, everything I needed when I needed it. Now, do you have a need for that? Are you on the lookout for being a part of an organization that has the ability to give you everything that you need when you need it? Well, I will tell you, there was a time in my past when I was looking for that. And here's the crazy thing. I didn't even know that's what I was looking for. I had no idea that's what I was looking for. But something out there caused me to pay attention to the messaging that was being sent by this organization. So I listened to the message. And the message was, well, it was pretty darn good. It was a message that told me that there was a supportive ecosystem out there that could assist me with learning how to invest in real estate. Now, why real estate? Why was I searching, whether it was consciously or subconsciously, why was I searching for an organization that has a supportive ecosystem? Because I had been a real estate investor before. I had been a real estate investor for probably, I don't know, let me see if I can do the mental math in my brain. I don't know, like 30 years prior to becoming a member of this particular organization. And here's what I didn't know in those 30 years. I didn't know I was doing it wrong. I had no idea. But there came a point in my life where the message that this supportive ecosystem kept sending out was just reverberating between my ears. Because what had happened to me was I had left a very long career in the military. I retired, and I tried to live off the retirement. Couldn't do it. My expenses of living were too high. See, what happens when you retire from the military, and it might happen to you when you retire from whatever you're doing, is you get replacement income. Mine came in the form of a pension that paid me about a third of what I used to make. My expenses didn't go down by 2/3. As a matter of fact, I had 2 kids that were getting ready to go to college. So you can understand what my expenses were like in my household. And I had to go back to work. I was physically retired, but I wasn't financially retired. And the military, as part of my transition training, encouraged me to go back into the workforce. Matter of fact, they taught me how to build a resume. They taught me interviewing techniques. They taught me certain skill sets that they thought I would need because I wouldn't be able to survive on my retirement alone. They knew that. I kind of knew that, but I wanted to believe differently. My problem was it wasn't easy finding a replacement job. Now, I wasn't interested in going back into the military industrial complex. I really wasn't. I'd spent 27 years of my life doing that. And I was kind of done. I was pretty much done. So I didn't want to be a defense contractor. I didn't want to go back to work in the federal government, working for the military. I didn't want any of that stuff. So I sought employment in the civilian work career fields. And one of the things that I found was that a lot of them weren't looking for somebody of my skill set and my talents. They already had enough people like me that had industry specific experience and skill sets that I didn't have to learn. Actually, I would have to learn, is what I meant to say. And, it kind of put me at a slight disadvantage. I finally found a job because I had to stop the bleeding in my life, the financial bleeding. Yeah, I was bleeding pretty bad. So I took a job below my skill set, below my experience. I excelled at that job because, at the end of the day, it was kind of too easy for me. But along with being too easy for me, it was not a job that gave me any sort of self-actualization. If you understand Maslow's hierarchy, I wasn't getting into that. None of it. None of Maslow's stuff was rubbing off on me. And I was just going through the motions. And I was miserable. And then I stumbled across this organization I was telling you about earlier in the show that has a supportive ecosystem. Now, you're probably, some of you know exactly who I'm talking about because some of you are members of this organization. Some of you know exactly who I'm talking about because you've listened to this radio show and you're aware of this organization. Some of you have no idea. So who am I talking about? I'm talking about a company called Lifestyles Unlimited. And I make all the jokes you want about the name. It sounds kind of goofy, right? But let me tell you something about that goofy name. It reinforces the lifestyle that I'm living now, which is unlimited in what I want to create. It's a beautiful thing. When we come back in the next segment, I'm going to tell you more about this supportive ecosystem. Stick around. Welcome back to the show. So let me hit you with two facts about Lifestyles Unlimited. Number one, it's a real estate investor education company. Number two, it's a real estate investor mentoring services company. Those are the two things that Lifestyles Unlimited does. That's all they do. They don't go out and buy real estate and sell shares of it to its members. Its members do all of the real estate transactions. Lifestyles Unlimited doesn't participate in our members' real estate deals. Only our members do. What Lifestyles Unlimited does is they effectively teach and mentor its membership effectively. It's really what Lifestyles Unlimited is all about. It's what it was all about when I joined back in 2017, when I realized that, what I was doing for real estate investing was ineffective and it needed to change. And change it did. I became a member. I was pretty skeptical. I'll be honest with you. I was very skeptical because I had participated in other organizations, seminars and things like that. I'd actually joined one particular organization, but what I found lacking was the supportive ecosystem. There was education there, but that's kind of where it stopped. Now, how is Lifestyles Unlimited different than that organization I joined previously and had an okay experience with, but not a stunning experience with? Well, Lifestyles Unlimited's strength lies in turning real estate education into this supportive ecosystem. It's not just about information, but about establishing relationships, accountability, And it's a proven path walked alongside by other members. This combination of structure, shared goals, human connection is why Lifestyles Unlimited is described as more than just a real estate investor education and mentoring program. It's a community that sustains long-term commitment and success. One of the biggest strengths of Lifestyles Unlimited is its network of people. Now, nationwide, there's something like, 50,000 members of Lifestyles Unlimited, if I remember the founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, Del Walmsley, telling me that. And I know I've heard him say that on some of his radio shows, which I do listen to. Oh, you don't know who Del Walmsley is? Oh, well, let me cue you in. Del Walmsley founded Lifestyles Unlimited in 1990. Yeah, let me say that again, 1990. Some of you listening to me, you weren't even a glimmer in your father's eye at that time. But in 1990, Del Walmsley had a vision. And he put that vision together, and it became the framework for Lifestyles Unlimited. And Lifestyles Unlimited has operated for over 35 years, grown its membership to well over 50,000 members. And the history itself builds trust and a deep well of collective experience. You know, I've met members of Lifestyles Unlimited that were around back in the 90s. And I've met members of Lifestyles Unlimited that have just recently joined. And I've met people along that entire continuum. And it's amazing the relationships that you make with these like-minded individuals that are trying to resolve the exact same problem you're trying to resolve, which is a future you retirement problem. And what is that, a future you retirement problem? Well, that's what's waiting for you somewhere in your future. And depending on how you do with whatever you're doing for retirement and how well inflation stays in check and how well the stock market continues to go up and up, all of that factors into future you retirement, because that's what you've decided to do. You've decided to pass on cash flow, pass on equity capture, stick with just appreciation. You don't have any major tax benefits other than the fact that you're in a quote unquote government sponsored retirement program. So you either get taxed on the way in or you get taxed on the way out, right? Depending on which one you're in, right? So you don't get the tax benefits that real estate provides. You don't get the benefit of something called principal paydown. All you're doing is investing for equity gain. And right now, it seems like that's the best decision you've ever made, right? Stock market's at all-time highs. Nothing will ever happen to the stock market again. There won't be any major crashes. I know a lot of you are like, hey, Trump's the president. He's got control over all that stuff. Well, does he? I don't know. I don't even think Trump can control the stock market. I think the stock market does what the stock market does. And it does it independent of any individual person. The stock market behaves in accordance with this massive pool of investors. And you've got these big institutional investors, and you've got everybody else. So the institutional investors kind of push the stock market, kind of drive it up and drive it down. and everybody else is along for the ride. And you're not an institutional investor, meaning you're along for the ride. Now, real estate is a completely different way of investing. It's a little more hands-on than what you're doing. You actually know something about the assets that you're invested in. Those assets pay you 5 different ways: the cash flow, the equity capture, the equity improvement, or appreciation as you like to call it, the principal pay down, the tax advantages. If you're doing multifamily, you get forced appreciation. All of these things factor in to you making money 5 or 6 different ways. Now, you're going to be a little bit more active in your investment, but like John, who was on just the other day, like he said, I mean, he's in 30 different apartment community deals. His biggest responsibility is to be active within the Lifestyles Unlimited community. Active. And I'll tell you what, John is very active, and it supports everything that he's doing for real estate investing. And it can support you too. In the next segment, we're going to get into Lifestyles Unlimited a little bit deeper. Stick around. Welcome back to the show. So let's do it. Let's get in to Lifestyles Unlimited, shall we? Let's talk about what it's going to do for you when you decide to become a member. Because it's going to do the same thing for you that it did for me. It's going to do the same thing it did for my buddy John, who was on just the other day. It's going to do some amazing things for you. And more importantly, you're going to be part of a culture that's going to embrace you. It will embrace you. You're going to find people within the Lifestyles Unlimited community that you're going to make friends with. I know it sounds weird, right? I'm joining a real estate investor education and mentoring company, and I'm making friends. Yeah, because the culture of Lifestyles Unlimited, it can't help but allow that to happen. And I've got a ton of friends all across America. As a matter of fact, I've got friends in other countries because of Lifestyles Unlimited. Now, check this out. There's a guy by the name of Adam who lives in a place called Australia. And he flew out for one of our expo events. Now, expo is one of these events that we throw that it's an opportunity for Lifestyles Unlimited members to come together on a large scale. Like thousands of us come together. Well, Adam was there, and he came from Australia. And here's the neat thing about Adam that I didn't know until he came to America to attend one of our expo events, because Adam is a member of Lifestyles Unlimited. He's a real estate investor. He learned how to do it the way we do it, and he's investing in real estate in the Americas from Australia. He has the same last name that I do. He does, same last name. So I'm like, wow, how did that boat get lost? Or maybe it was my boat that got lost. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I met somebody from halfway around the world who shares my namesake. I think that's kind of cool. And he's my friend. I see him posting on Facebook all the time. He's always on these little adventures. And it's fun to check out what he's doing because I know his backstory. I know why he became a member of Lifestyles Unlimited. I know what he's doing to change his retirement dynamic. And kind of like my buddy John, who was just on. How'd you like that rhyming? Yeah, that was pretty good rhyming, right? Okay, John, like I pointed out when I was interviewing him, or maybe he was interviewing me, I'm not sure how that worked, because at the end of the day, it was really more of a conversation amongst two friends about an organization, Lifestyles Unlimited, that created change for both of us. Now, John, he became a member like 3 years before I did. And by the time I had become a member, he had managed to retire himself. He had managed to replace all of his income that he needed to replace with passive income. He was able to step away from work. It's a great story. And it happened for him. And ever since then, he's been like the town crier for Lifestyles Unlimited. He is so happy with the results he's been able to achieve based off of what Lifestyles Unlimited provided him. That he's really like everybody's friend in Lifestyles Unlimited. First of all, everybody knows who John is. That Texas A&M shirt that he was wearing, that's his signature mark. He's like everybody's favorite Aggie because he's a proud graduate of Texas A&M. But at the end of the day, it was Lifestyles Unlimited, not Texas A&M, and John echoed this on his interview, that created the change in his life. And now he goes out and he meets as many people as he can. He's interested in everybody else's story. He provides encouragement and assistance along the way. And he's all over Facebook. He is. He's all over Facebook. Because he's kind of retired. He has time on his hands, as he pointed out in his interview. He has fun on Facebook. And I always get notified when he makes a Facebook post. I don't know why that is. I don't know how that algorithm works. Maybe they know we're buddies. But I always check out stuff that he's checking out about other Lifestyles Unlimited members. Because I have relationships with these people. And so does he. Lifestyles Unlimited is all about information flow. It's all about getting you the information that you need at the time that you need it. It's about educating you on the natural progression of the real estate investor. Do you even know what I just said? Well, let me break it down for you. There is a natural progression of a real estate investor. And that's what Lifestyles Unlimited does. It breaks it all down for you. We show you what that is. We educate you and give you the tools that you need in order to put the natural progression in your own forefront of your own mind. Because we want you to naturally progress as a real estate investor. And the first thing you have to do is educate yourself. So most of what Lifestyles Unlimited does, it provides educational resources to you. We have something called Investor Journey Nights. We do them monthly. We used to call them case studies. We call them Investor Journey Nights now because it's a better fit for what they are. And basically, it's a dialogue from real estate investors who are Lifestyles Unlimited members who have probably gone before you that are sharing their experiences of how the journey went. They're sharing financials with you. They're sharing the tricks of the trades with you. They're sharing experiences with you. And it's all designed to make you a better real estate investor. And it can help you build relationships with these people because now you know who they are. And you'll feel a little more comfortable walking up to them and saying, "Hi, my name is Al. I saw you on the Investor Journey Night. That was a great presentation. Thank you for sharing that." And they'll say, "You're welcome." What else do? We do a lot of things. We do a lot of things. And I'm not going to bore you with the typical itinerary, but I will tell you there is a calendar that comes out And it's a recurring calendar of educational events, meetup events, other events that are designed to make you a better real estate investor and to get you engaged with the Lifestyles Unlimited community. Because that community, that's where the rubber meets the road. The education gives you the knowledge that you need. The community gives you everything else. And within that community are all the things that you need to follow the natural progression of the real estate investor. It's kind of cool how Dell figured that out 35 plus years ago. And we're still doing it today. Lifestyles Unlimited is here for you today. It's not about the past, it's about the future. And we're taking Lifestyles Unlimited into the future. And you might as well be a part of it because you've got the same retirement problem that I had. Same retirement problem that most Lifestyles Unlimited members had. So you might as well get the solutions that you're looking for. In the next segment, more on LU. Stick around. Welcome back to the show. So how you doing? You holding up okay? Because I'm about ready to hit you with some information. Yeah, I'm going to hit you with some information no one else will share with you, but I will share it with you because I want to help. And I want you to be a part of the culture that I'm so proud to be a part of, the Lifestyles Unlimited community. I mean, I can't tell you how cool it is to go hang out with fellow Lifestyles Unlimited members and talk about real estate. Talk about the stuff that nobody else can talk to us about because they aren't members of Lifestyles Unlimited and they're doing kind of what you're doing for retirement. At Lifestyles Unlimited, when you become a member, you're going to have a bunch of resources opened up to you. And these are good resources. These are resources that will educate you and allow you to create community in your life. Now let's talk about some of these resources. And actually what I should call them are events, but I think resources is a better way to go. Now there's something called the Investor Compass. And what the Investor Compass is you and what direction you're trying to go in. But in order to understand that, you have to understand the compass. You have to understand the map. You have to be trained on these things. Now, when I was becoming an officer in the United States military, we spent a lot of time working with compasses and maps, learning how to find our way in the middle of nowhere, using natural landmarks and terrain, understanding the power of the compass, understanding the power of the map, understanding the power of the protractor. And we eventually became skilled at map reading and navigating. Now, some of us didn't get it, but most of us did. Lifestyles Unlimited is very similar to that. We're going to give you a compass, we're going to give you a map, we're going to give you a protractor, but we're not going to call it those things. What we're going to call it is something that, well, we're familiar with. What does that mean? We have something called the Investor Skills Intensive, and it's offered in a couple of different formats. It's offered on the weekends in a Saturday, Sunday format. It's about 16 hours of content. And it teaches you everything you need to know about the compass, the map, and the protractor, and how to invest in real estate, both single family and multifamily. We also offer that exact same training midweek. And we do that specifically for people that don't have their weekends available to them. And there's a lot of Lifestyles Unlimited members that fall in that camp. So what this does for them is it gives them a Monday through Thursday class. And we cover the exact same content that we do on the weekend class. Now, the Investor Skills Intensive that's taught online and in person, that's a 16-hour weekend class. It's done that way. We make it available in person. We make it available to you in an online format, which is basically you're there live in the audience as part of the audience when we're doing a live presentation. You get the exact same information. The 4-part Investor Skills Intensive that's midweek is online only. We don't do that live and in person because we know you're busy. And we've tailored that specific version of the exact same information to help you. I think that's pretty cool, don't you? Because the one thing you're going to learn as a Lifestyles Unlimited member is that you have to get the Investor Skills Intensive content down, or the rest of it just doesn't work as effectively as it can for you. So it's the first thing you're going to do, and you can do it as often as you want. If you do it once and you feel like you missed some of the content or you just didn't get something, you can take it again. It's all a part of your membership. In addition to those intensive skills seminars, we offer our Investor Journey Nights. And what those do for you is that gives you an opportunity to hear from your fellow Lifestyles Unlimited members. And they're showcasing deals that they've recently done so that you can take the information that you've learned and apply it to this basic info dump that's sharing with you real-time information about deals that have already happened. It's another way of educating you and making you smarter at the craft you've chosen to pursue. Then we have a thing called the Expo, which is that big giant meetup that we do annually. We're going to do one. We already did one this year. We're going to do another one next year. In addition to that, we have meetups all across the country. And what those do for you is those create an opportunity for you to meet the people that are local to you. If you live in the Bay Area of California, there's a meetup group out there. If you live in Austin, Texas, there's a meetup group out there. If you live in St. Louis, Missouri, there's a meetup group out there. There's a meetup group down in Miami. There's one in Houston. There's one in Dallas, Fort Worth, one in San Antonio, one in Phoenix, one in Kansas City. I won't be able to mention all of them because I don't know where all of them are off the top of my head, to be honest with you. But they're around. They're everywhere. And they're there for your benefit. We also offer road trips. And those road trips are designed to make you a more informed real estate investor because you actually get to go to a physical property and learn about that property. Learn about how the investor found it, what they did to acquire it, what they did to rehabilitate it, what they did to put it back into service, what they're doing for ongoing operations. You can see what units look like before they were improved. You can see what units look like after they're improved. And it's pretty amazing. It gives you real-time information at an asset that you can physically touch. And you can attend these road trips live and in person. You can go to where they're actually happening, or you can do them virtually. Both methodologies are offered to you. So if you live where I live in Tennessee, and they're going to do, let's say, a road trip down in Houston, Texas, and you don't want to drive for 2 days or, get on a flight to go down there, you just attend virtually like I do. The only thing that you don't get when you attend virtually is you don't get the smells. So, sometimes we look at properties that are in pretty bad shape, and that's all part of the education process too. And with that bad shape comes some pretty unbelievable smells. But like we like to say in real estate, it's the smell of money. And it's that smell that we make go away when we renovate those properties, breathe new life into them, and make them a place that somebody is going to call home. And that's our business model. And we show you every step of the way what that business model looks like. Now, in addition to the road trips, we have lunch and learns. We have mentorship meetings. We have all kinds of events that are designed to make you a more informed, more educated, and more connected real estate investor. Now, I know some of you are thinking, well, Al, you just said you're out there in Tennessee. I mean, how do you hang out with your fellow Lifestyles Unlimited members? I just go to where the meetups are at. I attend a lot of the virtual education that's offered. I attend the virtual meets that are offered. And you know what? I connect that way. There is a way to network even virtually. And I do it. And people network with me. And here's the thing. We'll eventually get to a place where we're standing in the same room and we can meet each other in person. And we'll go, it's like I've known you all my life. And they'll say, I kind of feel the same. And if you want to feel that, you want to be a part of what we do at Lifestyles Unlimited. You're tired of what you're doing for retirement. You're tired of the investing methodology you're doing, even though the stock market's doing great. You don't feel like you're getting to where you should be getting. You want to do things a little bit differently. Go to lifestylesunlimited.com. When you get there, click on Start Here. And let's get you going.
Thank you for listening to Lifestyles Unlimited's Real Estate Investor Radio Show. Ready for more of the map? Visit lifestylesunlimited.com. Explore our videos and articles. Click on the radio tab to access past show podcasts. View the radio show schedule and listen to our best of radio shows. Want to continue the conversation? Follow Lifestyles Unlimited on Facebook today. We want to meet you as well. Sign up for a free workshop at lifestylesunlimited.com. Until next time, remember, it's not the money, it's the lifestyle.
The information and opinions you hear on the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show are those of the hosts, guests, and callers and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of this station, its affiliates, its management, or advertisers. The Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show is for entertainment purposes only. Please consult a professional regarding your personal investment needs. Nothing presented on the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show constitutes an endorsement, recommendation, offer, or solicitation to buy or sell any product or security.